What's poppin', everybody? Week 8 Thursday Night Football with my guy Ty. As don't want to say always, but definitely joins us more often than not here. So shout out to Ty and shout out to everybody for hopping in. Minnesota Vikings heading to Los Angeles. Ty, 3-point spread here. Looking at the total, there are some 3.5s. 3 here at Circa, at Penny, at Bookmaker. 3.5 doesn't seem to be it seems like it's more of like a split market, kind of like I guess like a 3.25 per se, but really 3 we got FanDuel minus 108, DraftKings minus 103. So really mostly a 3 right now. Ty, again, I know you're a player prop better, but talk to me. Have you taken a look at all on this game, and do you have a side like at least lean or just some insight for this Chargers and Vikings game?
Yeah, I'm having a tough time. I was initially leaning towards the Vikings for sure. But Joe Alt is officially active.
Yes.
And because the Chargers have looked like shit. Like they have not been able to block at all as of recent. But I do think that Joe Alt is definitely like a swing player. Like he's that impactful, that good as a tackle. And it's just like where they've been so deficient. So I kind of was really leaning towards the Vikings. Now that Alt's active, I think that, 3.5 is maybe still lean towards the Vikes, but at 3, I probably have it at 3.
I laid the 3 with the Chargers. I bet minus 110. So this number is actually still available at MGM, as it's kind of been like a market that's been sitting around the same price point for the entirety of the week. Not like a ton of movement here and there, but Darius are also back. So 2 offensive linemen, not very many times where the O-line is like actually like, not saying they're moving the line or anything like that, but are like really massively impactful for both sides of the team. Like, of course, left tackle being a key position and having literally 2 of the best guys on each other's roster finally being back after there was some injury stuff. But Ty, I think that the Chargers at this point are, despite kind of how they looked, I think they're being like a bit, I don't want to say disrespected because I think the number is fair. I don't think there's like a massive edge here, but I think that it's like they're being a bit like underrated. Like now that we have, of course, QJ back after another week, he missed some time and was hurt. Lab was a little bit banged at the start of the year. He's of course, still playing well. Keenan Allen's been turning back the clock. This Gadsden tight end has really like blossomed. The only really issue here is like their backfield, which against the Vikings, I don't really think is like a massive, kind of like a massive detriment. I think that we're back to having Herbert now with his full complement of weapons. It's a help up front that we could kind of go back to see like what we saw with Herbert and Co. like to start off the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe with Alt, you could make the case. I'm having a tough time reading how good the Chargers are going to play because last week I was really high on Brian Flores. Just confusing the hell out of Jalen Hurts. Just that passing attack not looking good. But honestly, it's been a couple of weeks now where like Flores' defense has not really looked all that dominant. And now that they're getting Alt back, they definitely needed him for this matchup with how much they blitz, like 100%. Yeah. So that does make me believe that they'll be able to bounce back a little bit. Of course, without Hampton, without Haskins, not that I don't think he's any good, but yeah, I would think that they come out pretty pass heavy too, even though big run funnel this year, but yeah, just the Chargers aren't a team that can really establish it.
Yeah, the Chargers obviously dealing with massive injuries to their backfield that are obviously negatively impacting everything that they do. And the offensive line, the pressure that they've been getting to Herbert, it's been the quick pressure that's been really their killer. Like even going back to that Washington game a few weeks back, the Giants game a week prior to that, that was really the start where it was like, okay, like they're letting up immense amounts of pressure and teams are getting to Justin Herbert and he's not having time to do anything whatsoever. But with Alt back, I think we can maybe see a little bit of a change up there. And with the thing that Flores does, that could lead to some big plays, but it also opens up like the quick passing game where I think this Chargers offense can definitely be successful with their full complement of the weapons on the outside, of course, like dealing with some injuries to the backfield. But that is the unfortunate reality for Los Angeles this year when, Hampton and Najee go down with pretty terrible injuries. So I locked and loaded. I'm on the Chargers minus the 3. I already bet it. But, of course, we can go through player props and try to find some last-minute EV. Ty, let's go back to your domain here, some props. Have you played anything, and what are you targeting in this one?
Yeah, so I played one prop, moved a little bit, but Aaron Jones
Mhm.
over 24 and a half rushing yards. Thinking there's like a line out there at MGM still. There's some 25s, 26s out there. But yeah, man, I think that's so there was a quote from Kevin O'Connell, and let me quick pull it up. But he said he's a guy that you don't really need to get out there and test too much. He's a veteran player. He knows what he has to do and what he needs to feel like. We'll be smart with Aaron, but we know he's here for a reason, and we know what he can bring to our offense. To me, that kind of sounded like okay, like Aaron Jones, if he's playing, we're gonna trust him. It didn't exactly sound like a oh yeah, we need to be ultra cautious with him or anything. He's kind of been out for a while. I think that that's been by design. It's like okay, like it's a hamstring. Let's rest it. Let's not rush it. I kind of think he's just going to be pretty much normal, pretty normal with his usage. To me, Jordan Mason hasn't really been all that impressive. I think that this is like a 1A, 1B situation with Mason and Jones. And the market's kind of pricing it like it's like a, 1 and a 2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, the Chargers, since week 3, they've literally like you think the Dolphins run defense is bad, you think that the Cowboys run defense is bad. I mean, since week 3, no one's been worse in run defense EPA than the Chargers too. So should be a spot where they can establish it.
I agree, and I'm actually glad you brought up Aaron Jones. 'Cause if you didn't bring him up, I was going to because think about a couple weeks back when we were talking. I think it was might have been week 2, Monday Night Football with the Vikings playing the Bears, and we hit that Jordan Mason most rushing yards because you were projecting Mason to kind of take over. And there was I want to say it was probably like an hour ago. It was a quick flash in the pan on MGM. They were sitting at 21 and a half, while the rest of the market was 24 and a half. Like MGM does frequently, being a little bit slow to adjust their numbers based on the market there. And now it's shot up to like this 24 and a half being pretty much consensus around the board for like the baseline, though there's even some 27 and a halfs now at FanDuel and DraftKings being like the number. And this was the question I was going to ask you, Ty. It's like now that Aaron Jones is back, obviously there's a bit of like injury concern. You always are want to be like a bit cautious on how many snaps they're going to play. But the Kevin O'Connell quote comes into play. Do you think Aaron Jones is projected for like what of the usage? Would you say like 30% of the snaps is like fair, meaning regardless, this number is like kind of ridiculously low against a bad Chargers run D?
I think he's going to play like 50% of the snaps and get most of the passing down work. I think that Mason will say if there's a pie of 24 carries, I think that Mason might get like 14 to 10, 13 to 11, something like that. I think he's going to be right behind him, man. Aaron Jones I know he's old, maybe he's at the age curve, but he was a really damn good running back last year. And he had like one bad game and then he got hurt. I don't know if people are just like writing him off, but dude, he was like a very, very good runner last year. So like I think he's probably like a slightly better runner than Mason, but with the hamstring and just like Mason will get the short yardage stuff. So yeah, I think that the books are just kind of acting like he's dust, and I just personally disagree.
I honestly disagree as well, especially considering, like we said, the matchup one, the coach speak two, and the situation. Because like when we hit that Mason bet again, this is a while ago. Then of course Jones got hurt, and Mason did have a couple of like really good games, which is definitely like regressed more toward like what you'd expect from like Jordan Mason. Like he was running like an RB, like a legit RB1 for like 2 or 3 games. That was really never going to be sticky. Aaron Jones, I think, definitely is going to have a lot of impact, and this number will confirm its availability here at MGM, which I don't doubt. But like I said, this was 21 and a half like an hour ago on MGM, where the rest was like 24 and a half. Now we're seeing even a bigger spike with Novig, FanDuel, DraftKings being at the 27 and a half number. And didn't add to the slip here on DK, but let's excuse me, MGM, let's pull it up. What is that? Oh, this is not over under rushing yards. I hate when they do that. We'll go back to PTO, but I will confirm that. And I honestly think that that's still worth locking in, even at minus 120.
Yeah, I agree, especially at that MGM line if you can get down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when I saw that 71 and a half, I was like, that 21 and a half, when I was looking at the screen and it popped up, I was like, damn, like all the MGM havers, like if you are capable, like definitely hoping that people are getting down on that. There we go.
100%.
Rushing yards over under. One of my biggest pet peeves is when the sports books are purposely like DraftKings is like the biggest culprit and MGM is nipping it as well when they have their alternate lines as like their like base numbers, quote unquote, and you have to kind of sort through to find the actual over unders. That's by design, ladies and gentlemen. That is a trick that they're trying to play on you here. But
Absolutely.
we're in on Aaron Jones. Ty, where else is your head at for the prop market?
So I don't like this number. I wish it was at 4.5, but I kind of like Johnston under 3.5 receptions at plus 116. So the Vikings play like the most too high. They blitz the most in the league, and you could also correlate this the other way too. But just like Keenan like is by far the leader in like targets per route ran, target share, and Ladd's right behind him. They're like the Ladd's playing out of the slot. Keenan's kind of out wide and in the slot too, but running very low ADOT stuff. Just like against like a Flores defense that funnels everything underneath and makes you get the ball out quick. It just absolutely reeks of like a Keenan and Ladd game. I guess the one reason, Eric, this is like my betting philosophy, and it's kind of weird, but the Chargers are coming off of a game where they had so many damn passing attempts and so many damn like receptions. Everyone put up big numbers. I naturally will almost never play an over in that situation when everyone's coming off of a high volume game. I just don't. That's typically not how I bet. I'm a stickler on buying low and selling high.
Absolutely. But QJ coming off an under reception and an under overall game last week. So you're going back to the well here with QJ. And but I guess you broke down your reasoning with anticipating a quicker pass game than seeing some stuff down the field for QJ.
And Eric, the reason why it's not a play is because that same thing literally happened last game with Ladd getting 15 targets and 9 receptions, Keenan getting 14 and 11. Like Quentin only had 2, so it's like they're naturally kind of inflated. Quentin's kind of naturally deflated, so it's like it's just not a spot where I like to make bets for just off of my overall NFL betting philosophy.
No, I absolutely understand that, but it does want to it does intrigue me to look at the touchdown market, of course. A QJ getting priced 165 at Circa, 170 FanDuel, 174 with $100 liquidity there at Novig. But something I like to do with the Chargers when it comes to their mostly between like Ladd and Keenan, because Ladd was dominating the red zone target share to start the season. Then the opposite. Keenan was dominating the red zone target share, and then Ladd was getting his red zone targets up. And then now it's Keenan. So it's kind of like a, who's who, because of course Keenan is absolutely balling, but Ladd is still an absolute stud. So I am curious to see like where we're getting priced at for both of these guys. Right now it's Circa, QJ, and Ladd have the same odds at 165. And whereas Mr. Keenan Allen, let's see here. Keenan, all 3 at Circa. Circa's not even like taking a stand. All 3 of them 165. It's pick your poison.
You're like, who the hell do we put? They don't even know. I hate teams like that where it's just like it's tough to like pick who's going to be the guy. Like in teams like this where it's just been so damn like spread out all year.
Absolutely. And like I've had my success picking my spots, honestly. Like last week I had Keenan anytime. That was like it was a plus EV play. It was plus 210. The rest of the market was like 170. Ended up hitting 2 weeks ago or against Washington. I had Ladd first touchdown at any time. So like I was kind of targeting Ladd there, but I'm not, flexing, believing that like I'm, really knowing of the Chargers offense. Like it was just some good cherry picking by me there. But Ty, I can't ignore Justin Jefferson. And I know I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like in your betting philosophy, when you have star players, assume you're mostly looking toward unders. That being said, price dictates everything. What are your thoughts on Jefferson if you have even bet it? Because I have a pretty strong argument there. I'm intrigued by Jefferson alts in this game, even though his line is 79.5.
Yeah, so the Chargers cornerback room is definitely not good. The defense has just been kind of like a shit show for a couple of weeks now. I think that, like I said, I'm on Jones rushing. I do think that they kind of established it a little bit more, but yeah, I mean, 70, I slightly lean over. I think it's like a fairly set line, and I don't have any like crazy opinion on that. But what is your thoughts?
My thoughts are that certain games and like it's kind of like it does seem like pretty square. So this is like not going to be like relatively like crazy insightful, but like Justin Jefferson is the best player on the field when they're on offense and they're on defense. And the Chargers, like we said, like their secondary, their names that they have back there, their unit has not been really doing too well. And Jefferson being this high volume receiver, this guy that like is top 3 receiver in football, if not literally the number 1 in football. I see Carson Wentz targeting him all game long. And yes, you can anticipate there being a lot more eyeballs on him. And Addison, of course, is like a very underrated player. And I think that's the cat's been out of the bag because of how he's been performing. But I think that when it comes to like, best player versus, again, like a struggling, not nearly as good defense, that I'm going to defer to and target Justin Jefferson to be the guy, which is, again, I'm not going out on a crazy limb here, but I think it's one of those situations where like the king stays the king.
Yep. Yeah, primetime can't go wrong with it, dude. He's kind of due too. Like Addison had like such a damn big game. Wentz has been like kind of slinging it. And yeah, I think Addison's kind of been having too big of like a target share recently, and that's kind of going to come back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, because I think it's, like, correct me if you think I'm wrong or like doesn't really make sense. Like, obviously, I'm not saying NFL DCs or GMs or coaching schemes are like forgetting about how good somebody is, but like with Addison missing time, I think it did actually just create some value for him, especially I guess in more of the gambling market, because he really, since he's been playing and healthy, he's been like one hell of a productive player.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Seeing a 230 for Addison anytime to circa 205 here at DraftKings, 220 at FanDuel for Addison anytime. Curious what Jettas is at. Obviously, expecting it to be much worse. Jettas a 160 to a circa 145, but a 155 at FanDuel for Jettas anytime.
Yeah, he kind of seems like he's due, dude. Like at the end of the day, like I think we were talking about it with Jamar last week. It's like one of the best receivers in the league, and it's like a dome game. I mean, this game probably is going to have a ton of points. Don't see the Vikings having trouble to put the ball in the end zone. Yeah, 155. I can get behind that 100%.
Yeah, seeing this again, this 160 at DK. DK has a 30% profit boost. Has to be a 3-leg parlay. Give me a max bet of 5s, though. Unfortunately, sometimes they boost it up for me for like 10 or 15 bucks, but we're sitting at $5 today, unfortunately. Jett is absolutely on the potential for that card here. But Todd, down the board, is there anybody that you're looking at now with, again, like I guess on that same thought process with Jefferson being obviously Jefferson, Addison being back? We know we have like the Jalen Nailers of the world on the Vikings. We have some other like lower key guys who have stepped up when Addison was back, though of course taking a little bit of a back seat. Any guys deeper down the board you have any interest in?
Score a touchdown. I don't know what's the price for this guy, because I think that this guy's kind of just chomping at the bit, and he keeps on kind of playing more and more week by week. He keeps on getting good reviews. What do we have for Trey Harris?
Trey Harris. Let's take a look here. Trey Harris, the rookie.
Are we getting like 9-1 on him?
We're getting 13-1 at FanDuel.
Yeah, that's a pretty damn good bet, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, this dude's a big body receiver. He played 43% of the snaps last week. It's almost 50, He's also like a guy who's like their best run blocker by a decent margin. So like if they do kind of get down, and the Chargers don't really do this a ton, but like if they want to go play action, under center in the red zone, like I think he'd be the guy that's on the field over like literally anyone.
AEC bringing up touchdown jackpot. I'm glad he just did, because this does not fit the perfect touchdown jackpot mold. Trey Harris 13-1.
It does. There's also another guy, Eric, and I'm a little bit. I don't know about scoring a touchdown, but I see that Nyheim Hines is back in the NFL.
Yes.
I wonder how much he plays and if he has any reception stuff out.
First thing I'm typing was the rec market, as I knew you were going to be going there with Nyheim Hines. All the time he spent with the Colts, being great out of the backfield, also great in the return game as well. Reception prop, we're seeing nobody listing it, but MGM going on a limb, -120 on over a half, but Profit X -141 for a single reception for Nyheim Hines.
How much liquidity?
Only $140.
Okay, I mean, it's dicey, right? Like you could really get screwed over here by like maybe because he's pretty old. I feel like he hasn't like played an NFL game in a while, dude. But so I probably want to bet like 2+ receptions or something at like +200. If like MGM maybe has that, I'm not exactly sure.
PTO not
Um,
showing anything for 2+ except at BetAno in Canada. So our
oh,
Canadian viewers,
Betano and MGM mirror each other. So let me actually check my MGM.
I mean, I
Or
have
some,
MGM already open as well. Let's take a look here. Let's do a quick scroll. Receptions made. This is the base price. Neiman Hines under plus 155. Over is the 210 that we saw. Where are alternates here? Because they have alternates. Receiving. Let's go here. Receptions made. I'm not seeing an alternate market on MGM at all.
damn,
I'm
that
not logged
sucks.
in though,
Okay.
so maybe that's why. But they're not showing me any sort of alternate market for receiving. But you're intriguing me with Trey Harris on for the FanDuel jackpot. We're gonna pull up
I
that
mean, that's
sample.
kind of a crazy number, dude. Like, I was thinking like it should be like 6-1. Like that just kind of or 7-1. You know.
So, quick question. You might not have an answer for this. This is genuine curiosity, and like maybe this is true. Maybe somebody in chat has a thought. When you're seeing, of course, Circa pricing Lad, QJ, and Keenan at 165, they don't have a price for Harris. But do you think that because FanDuel also has around 170 for all those guys as well, like straight up the same price, does that kind of like by default also make it so there's going to be value in Harris, or the fact that it's a one-way market with massive hold anyway that you can't really like determine how much value there is if you're not like deviating to the rest of the market on a touchdown?
Yeah, I think that anything that Circa like doesn't post is probably good, right? I mean, because in theory, right, like Circa should be trying to if Circa thinks they have a accurate number, wouldn't you like want to post it, right? Because then you're gonna make money if you can post like a perfectly accurate number every single time. So
Absolutely.
I think that is probably a good thing.
I locked in Trey Harris for the
For
touchdown
the jackpot.
jackpot entry. Still have a 30% boost also on FanDuel. We'll definitely be utilizing that. That's a straight bet also. Does not have to be a parlay on FanDuel. So we could definitely try to find some value on some stuff. But I went with Trey Harris. Anytime touchdown 13-1 with the jackpot bonus. I just bet it. I had a $5 bet to enter. So I am entered and all in. That being said, we're also going to take a look at some first touchdowns as well and look at some of this game. But we do like Aaron Jones. And maybe this is actually where I'm going to go to immediately. Aaron Jones' first touchdown. Just looking at pricing, Circa not putting up anything, but for a guy who could straight up become RB1 because he literally was prior to it all happening in terms of the injury, though Jordan Mason did play well. Anytime I'm getting like a 16-1 on a potential running back one tie, like that's piquing my interest already.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Like, yeah, it's like these guys want to like these head coaches want to get these guys involved early too. So he hasn't played in a while. He's a respected veteran. You can make an argument. I mean, he actually was the starter over Jordan Mason in both games.
Absolutely.
Now, will
Absolutely.
that be the case still? Probably not, but he's going to get in early. And yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, 16-1 for someone who has scored a lot of touchdowns in his career, and I believe to be still pretty good. So yeah, I'm game on that.
Got Mason at 9-1 at DraftKings, 850 at Circa. Let's see, we got 16-1 at FanDuel, looking like the best price from the US rec book, seeing BetSafe at 18-1. Not familiar with them, but probably Canadian book. If you have access to them, that would be definitely worth a look. But I think that again, like this is like kind of my philosophy, Ty. But again, we're talking about first touchdown, so not like very strong philosophy. But anytime I'm getting a running back one or like a wide receiver one whose touchdown price is generally in like the even money to like the plus 125 range, and you're giving me 10-1 for them to score the first touchdown, even if they're an underdog, I'm so interested in that.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, are you talking about the first touchdown one?
I'm saying when it comes to a first touchdown, yes. Like if I'm getting like
Yeah.
even like Jettas is 9-1, like that's like kind of like the lowest threshold I go. Like
Yeah.
we're betting first touchdowns, but we're betting for fun because it's Thursday night football. We're not like capturing massive edges, and we're of course getting some good prices from the market. But even like a Jettas at 9-1, like you're giving me the best player on the field to score the first touchdown at 9-1 with his usage. Like that's always going to be intriguing to me.
For sure. Like I said, I'm honestly not a touchdown guy in general, unless
Yeah.
it's like a narrative bet, or like a jackpot. I love me a little jackpot, but I can't. I'm just not not a big touchdown guy, dude. Like I can't remember the last like straight bet I've made that was a touchdown.
I straight bet touchdowns. Honestly, narrative. There's three reasons why I straight bet touchdowns. One, fun narrative, emphasis on fun. Two, market pricing being totally off. Like if I catch DraftKings, even FanDuel, if it's early enough in the week, like that's just so off market to circa. I bet that. And then number three, if I know ball, if you know ball, you got to bet a touchdown. You have a matchup, a guy you know is going to score. You got to back the ball knowledge.
Like, dude, like the people. I think it was my buddy Stim, but like David Montgomery in Cincinnati with like his sister who just got paralyzed was going to be there for the first time. Like, and Dan Campbell being like the ultimate David Montgomery guy, the ultimate player coach. Like, the people who got on that early that was like such a damn good bet. I think it ended up closing like +2 or -200, and it's like against the Bengals. Like, yes, they're obviously going to score like 4 or 5 touchdowns too. And he like literally threw a touchdown, and they were clearly just like forcing him to rock over Gibbs. So I mean, like, yeah, I think that's like when I would bet the touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, touchdowns, especially in most cases, unless it's at circa or in exchange, you're getting a one-way market, which is going to always make it a higher hold percentage. And the prices of the books, they oftentimes do try to diminish any and all value from touchdown props to the point where they are mostly always negative EV. But again, digging to the market, there are situations where you are going to be able to find some anytime touchdowns that are actually like worth betting. And in this one, like the only touchdown like straight that I'd be interested in from, again, like a ball perspective, but also like more of like wouldn't call it a narrative, but like from a due perspective would be Justin Jefferson. But
yeah,
this number I think dropped since we spoke. This was higher, I'm pretty sure, when we were looking at this 5 minutes ago.
Justin Jefferson, is he really going to go 6 games without a touchdown? Finally playing in prime time. I actually agree with that, dude. I feel like football is just like a game of destiny, and like it's not so dumb to say, but like the people who were on Travis Hunter like in his primetime game where he like of course like made a big play for like the first time. Like of course Travis Hunter, like the most talked about football player in college that we've seen for a while. Like of course like he makes a play in primetime like after having a quiet start of the year. Like I feel like things like that just always happen in the NFL. So such a weird sport.
And then Travis Hunter gets his first tutty over in London with the standalone game. But Ty, we have 2 30% boosts, one on DraftKings, which has to be a 3-leg parlay, one on FanDuel that could be on a straight bet. Did you use your boost just yet, or can we cook something up? Because I think we absolutely try to cook something up right here.
I would be game. Yeah, let's cook something up. I think that I don't hate like doing like a Jones Mason like reverse correlation thing. Kind of, I think that could make sense.
Absolutely.
Like a under for Mason, over for Jones. Justin Jefferson touchdown, dude. I'm actually you kind of sold me on that, dude. You really spoke with your heart, and like now I'm in.
Dude, I love Jettas today. I wouldn't be shocked to see a Jettas 100+ in a tutty today, honestly. Still with a Chargers hopefully covering a 3.
If I can sign into my FanDuel, I will get busy with you.
Absolutely. I am building out slips here on DraftKings and FanDuel. I have the boost, of course, on my phone. I'm not logged in because I always have location problems when betting on stream. But with that being said, we'll check the prices on both of them, because even when odds are better on FanDuel, sometimes their SGP price, even without correlation, maybe they are just better at pricing correlation. I'm missing some of the correlation stuff, though. It seems like they are often, giving out some pretty crappy lines on the SGPs.
Their SGP lines kind of stink, dude. Like if you want SGP stuff, Caesars is the way to go.
Absolutely.
I think. Well, it depends on.
So we could also, Aaron Jones, right? We are under the impression that the line is low, but do we think it is like ridiculously low or just like a bit too low? Because is it worth doing some Aaron Jones alternate rushing stuff, or it's kind of like 25 is probably closer to accurate than like 30 might be?
I think that I think that the Vikings could be like a hot hand team. We actually saw that happen in week 1 where Jordan Mason clearly was a hot hand. I think that, like I said, I think this team, I mean, like I said, the Chargers have literally been like the worst, like an EPA per rush when you don't include turnovers, just like waiting the raw, like how good is this team running the damn ball? Like they were literally the dead last since week 3. So I mean, realistically, I think that's some like alts, like playing into Jones, maybe 50 plus, because I still think he's capable of like ripping off a 30-yarder,
Absolutely. We're seeing for 40 plus, 205 at FanDuel, and for 50 plus, scrolling down here, 370 at FanDuel for Aaron Jones to put up 50 plus. It's plus 390 at MGM.
Okay. I am a fan.
Let's see. Going to rushing props here. I'm going to go to FanDuel strictly for a quick second, and we'll pin back. Most rushing yards we love. Vidal, the leader in the clubhouse, 120. Mason, 140. Aaron Jones 1.
8-1, dude. We have to take that.
I think because like, let me check DraftKings quickly. Go on.
DraftKings? Are you doing it?
I'm checking DraftKings. DraftKings is 6-1 for most rush yards. I just have to check the price there.
Dude, 8-1 sounds absurd, dude. Like, especially from someone who actually, like, I believe has some juice. Like, come on.
I think it'd be poetic how, like you said, I think it was week 1 or maybe it was week 2 when we hit the Jordan Mason primetime most rushing yards when he was like 550. We're like, no, like it's probably more of a split share than we think. Now we're getting Jones back from injury. I'm intrigued by that. Absolutely. And the FanDuel boost is 30%, does not have to be on a parlay. So we could just boost that to even higher and call it a day.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, dude. Like, genuinely. Dude, can you parlay that or no?
Yes, you can. On FanDuel.
Okay. It's like a glitch in the system where you can do Jones most rushing and Jones like 50 plus. Oh, that made the odds worse.
It made the odds. It went from plus 800 to plus 779. I'll show everybody on stream just for a quick laugh here. You add Aaron Jones, and you go alternate rushing here, or honestly, it doesn't even matter. We'll just do base. It's not even showing me a price. Oh, there we go. As you see, it goes down to 652.
Eric, dude, what do you think about Jones most rushing and Justin Jetta's anytime 2-leg parlay? Are we getting greedy? I agree with you, bro. Justin Jefferson is so new.
So here's the thing. All right, we have 1704 on FanDuel. Jones most rushing went to 750 while we were speaking, by the way.
Yeah. Great, dude.
So that's a quick drop, but I do want to just show on DraftKings quickly because even though this is 150, plus 150 shorter, I am curious to see because there is a 3-leg prop and like a 3-leg parlay, 30% boost as well. So same amount of boost percentage, but we do have to add another leg, but we could add like a ghost leg, Justin Jefferson, receptions or something. All right, 14-1. So I was just at genuine curiosity if they were gonna screw the pricing there and it was gonna be well off market, but talk to me here. Are we locking this in? Because I'm very interested.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like, what do you think we should do? Is there like a max bet that we have with this boost or no?
My max bet, I'm assuming it's $10. Yep, it's $10.
Yeah, okay, dude. Let's put the touchdown and then screw it. Like, are you kidding me?
I agree. 30% boost. My max bet is $10. 10 to win 219. So with the boost, it goes up to plus 2192. I'm adding it and I'm accepting it. Aaron Jones, most rushing yards. Justin Jefferson, anytime touchdown. Locked and loaded with the profit boost.
Why can't I use my boost? Did they let you use your boost?
They let me use my boost. Yep, 30% boost.
Is that only for straights or for parlays too?
It's for straights. It's for anything. It says any bet would be straights or parlays. DraftKings is the 3-leg parlay. 30% boost.
Okay. There we go. FanDuel is bugging. Nice. So now get it up to 21. 10 to win 220. Dude, I don't hate that.
I locked and loaded. 10 to win 229, 25.
Yeah. What a read. This is like the biggest vibes play from us, but and it also okay, so Wentz and Herbert are both listed. Well,
yes. Herbert is like sneaky low key, but like very low key. Maybe not that low key. I mean, let's Herbert for the most rushing yards. I'll share back to FanDuel quickly because Herbert, of course, as we know, has had some like relatively solid rushing games overall. 22-1 is like low key, also a bit intriguing. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, Herbert kind of has some juice. Like I swear, he'll just like randomly run one for like a good, like a big old chunk play.
And for whatever it's worth, see this 22-1 at DK. I mean at FanDuel, 850 at DK for most rush yards for Herbert.
Gadsden is only plus 175 to score. Dude, it's actually hilarious that Johnston, Gadsden, Ladd, and Keenan are all priced the exact same.
I know. It's like it actually is because like I track the Chargers because I'm always intrigued by like their pricing and like I do like to bet some, Ladd, some QJ, some Keenan touchdowns. And I always do, like I say, try to find the spots where one of them is like very off because like that's the one I go with rather than like gut play. Like it's like one where I'm like, okay, like, expecting a bit of regression, like I talked about a bit ago, like Keenan dominating the early season target share in the red zone. I'm like, you have a guy as good as Ladd McConkey who is getting a bit like disrespected. Like they're going to come back around and start throwing the ball to Ladd. And what do you know? They threw the ball to Ladd in the end zone. He had the uptick in red zone shares, and then now it switched back down. And we could pull up FTN also as well. And like, this is just week 7 specifically, but let's go to usage here. Or no, we'll go to efficiency. That's where the red zone, not base, is where red zone is. Here we go. This has the Vikings in it as well, but Ladd McConkey got 3 red zone targets last week. Keenan still got 2. What's up?
2 for Jefferson. He's turning that into a tutty.
I mean, I had Jefferson anytime. I had Jefferson over receiving yards last weekend, hit by the hook, which is why you shop your numbers, boys. I got in early at 78.5. He finished with 79. I think it closed 79.5. So I know a lot of people on stream already do know that, numbers matter and you got to pick your spots and get in your prices early and to make sure that you are getting the best of the number. But if you ever need a reminder, you can see it happen, live and in real time. Add some week 6 to this as well. See Ladd again 4-3 though. Both of them have scoring touchdowns. Add week 5 as well. And FTN, take a look at the end zone share. Yeah. Ladd and Keenan going neck and neck. And then once you go back though to like weeks, we'll do week 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna see some more Keenan Allen up there.
Oh yeah.
Go to that thing. And you have Keenan Allen, who had 4 red zone share, had 5 to Ladd's 0 to start the season. So you got to be like Ty eloquently put before, the old adage: buying low, selling high. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, good old buy low, sell high. Can't. That's my love language.
Can't go broke making a profit.
Cannot.
All right, so that's some fun stuff. We also have this DK boost that I want to use, and we have one more first touchdown to surface. So a reminder for everybody of what we have so far. I bet the Chargers -3, -110. I bet Aaron Jones first touchdown at, let me confirm the price here. I think it was 16-1.
Yeah, let's just tell PFT commenters SGP on DraftKings. I think that's plus EV.
Oh my god! Every time it's buy low, sell high, and it's whenever there is a face next to a parlay on DraftKings, it's plus EV. Those are the 2 truths of life. Where is this not loading for me? Discord is being slow. It was Aaron Jones first touchdown 16-1. Trey Harris for the touchdown jackpot 13-1. And I bet Chargers -3. And Ty also, did you end up betting the Aaron Jones over rush yards straight?
Oh yeah, yep. That was I bet that like a little bit earlier. That's my only strategy that I actually have. But then I played that touchdown parlay and Jones most rushing. Dude, that thing's beautiful. Can't wait to have that. Can't wait to have an extra $200 in my pocket tonight after that hits.
Absolutely. Our fun bet with the FanDuel boost being Aaron Jones most rushing yards parlayed with Justin Jefferson anytime plus 21.92. So again, this DraftKings 30% boost. I guess we do have some Jones exposure, but Ty, I mean, this is still like stared me in the face. Justin Herbert 200 plus 2,200 for the most rushing yards in a game with 2 teams that, yes, the Chargers defense stinks against the run, hence our real deployment on Jones most rushing and Jones rushing stuff. But that to me is like, I don't know. That's calling my name. And now it's getting to the point, Ty, where I've talked about this before on stream and with you. Like, there are some times where like I build a terrible slip and I'm like, this is the dumbest slip ever, but I see the payout and I'm like, I'd rather lose like $1 to $10 than like not bet it and it hit.
Trust your gut. You just gotta trust your gut.
I'm looking at FTN, some rushing stuff here. I mean, Herbert, let's say Vidal already out snapping him, 30 out attempting him throughout his 3-game stint. Of course, Herbert's played 7 total games, but only 30 attempts, one fewer, but has 24 more rushing yards than Vidal has accumulated in his Chargers tenure.
Dude, Eric, do you know what I'm actually gonna do? I'm actually betting PFT commenters SGP and using the boost on it because I want to get my DraftKings. I've been kind of winning a lot on DraftKings recently, so I gotta get the scent off me.
And for everybody who is curious, that parlay is Lad anytime, Jefferson 5+ receptions, Carson Wentz to throw a pick, which probably the lock of the century, and Jonathan Grenard 1+ sack. So PFT, he's spraying the board there.
PFT out here just flipping coins.
Listen,
yeah, Carson Wentz is gonna throw a pick. I already saw it.
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
He said the PFT is just out here flipping coins. He's like, yeah, Carson Wentz, dude, like he's definitely throwing a pick. Shit.
Well, we might as well check the odds on interceptions. Of course, PTO has INT odds right for you. And Carson Wentz to throw a pick is baseline -133 at Novig, 140 at Circa, and it looks like there's a very, very good amount of liquidity here. 4.8K between the over interception and the under at +113 tie for Aaron Jones to pick for Carson Wentz to throw an interception.
I mean, he's kind of a klutz. Like, I don't know. I do not bet interceptions either. Honestly, the Chargers defense. I don't know. I like betting interceptions if it's like a spot where like it's going to be like they can't run the ball. They're just forced to drop back a ton. It's very obvious what's coming. I'd like to think that like if they can establish a run, maybe he has some open play actions and it's easier to avoid throwing a pick for Wentz, I guess. But I don't have a real take on it.
No, me either. But I do think it is curious that that is like a good amount of liquidity for these markets. We see on Pick the Odds, another amazing feature, Pick the Odds, they are showcasing a live liquidity. We watched that move as more liquidity was added to the market. And while we were just going through that tie, I had to do it. I locked in Herbert, most rushing yard, 22 to 1 on FanDuel. I don't think it's that egregious at all. I really don't. I think the price is
going to happen. I've seen Herbert rip off like 30-yard rushes before. It's in the range of outcomes.
Absolutely in the range of outcomes, especially let's even like do this here. Looking at just the rushing yard market, we know that Jones is 27.5. And we do think that he could potentially have like a pretty nuclear day on the ground. Nuclear, take that with a grain of salt here. Herbert's at 18.5, so only listed as 9 yards fewer than Aaron Jones. We have Mason at 49.5, so expecting again the continuous bell cow. Flipping over to the other side, Neiman Hines, if he even has a rush yard prop up, looking like MGM is willing to put an 8.5 out there, which is about it. And then, of course, Kamani Vidal, who, with all the injuries to the backfield, is supposed to be the guy at 57.5. Like, we're getting all these such low rushing yard baseline totals. I'm getting the guy with an 18.5 and the quarterback with the mobility at 22 to 1. I've already talked myself into it, so I don't need to continue to do it. I bet it.
Do you think that, Eric, I don't know how much you are like an account health guy, but like, dude, I bet there's like nothing better for your account than betting these SGPs on DK that are pre-made by, their celebs.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely preach account health. It's definitely a move to do. Like if you want to be serious and keep account longevity, like it's a skill. It truly is. There are ways to go about it. There are ways to do it improperly that will, get your account nuked just as quickly as winning could do. All that being said, I have to agree. Like, there's no way they're not salivating watching people tail the Big Cat or PFT play of the week. Like, and that's not a shade to like to like these faces we're seeing. Let me switch my screen over. we got Andrew Whitworth hanging out here. We got PFT. We got the boys. Like, who doesn't want to ride with the boys and 11.1K other people, to tail these parlays. But like, I don't know, dude. At the same time, it does kind of, I wouldn't say bother me because it's not like that serious, but it's like, you think baseball face with his Vikings +3, Keenan Allen. Like, I don't know who Mutt is, but I see a guy with the baseball face. We have a promoted parlay there. Then you got 795 people to tail him. So hey, like, I mean, if you really want to tail something, you should be hitting up Ty's Discord and betting some NBA origination from Ty. That's what you want to tail.
Yes, in a little bit. I'm very light volume NBA right now. I'm such a nerd with NBA, dude. I need like data points. With NFL, I actually like think that less data points is better. But like NBA, like I don't like early season NBA. It's tough for me to like find like 2 plays.
Well, it's a good, talking point. Like, might as well talk about it quickly. Like, the NFL data points aren't even meaningful in the sense where you're not getting a big enough sample size over the course of a 17-game season in its entirety. So, like I'm not gonna sit here and say data doesn't matter. Like, obviously, like you can go into like advanced metrics like schemes, coverages, how quarterbacks perform against those type of things, how receivers perform against those type of things, what kind of routes they're running, and all those like intricacies. But things like hit rates and things like even target share, those things are not sticky and are not meaningful data points in football. Your goal as a sports bettor, in all sports, of course, is to project usage and to project routes run and to project potential target share. And the same way you can have complete crazy outliers in any sport, the NFL, I feel like they come out of nowhere because everyone's so fixated on like the recency biases that come up in the National Football League. And the fact of the matter is, and again, back to my Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey end zone example, nobody wants to bet Ladd McConkey because Keenan Allen has every single red zone target and Ladd has 0. Then what happens 1 week later, Ladd scores a touchdown and he becomes the dominating target share guy in the red zone. Like, those are the things that you're, at this point, like, honestly, like the sharpest thing you can do without, I think, putting in like any work besides is line shopping, which is the sharpest thing anybody can do with like minimal effort, is, I think, honestly, like not feeding the public tie. And correct me if you disagree, like this is of course an opinion, like just trying to zig when people's ag. Like if you see somebody have a 100-yard receiving game 1 week, like honestly, I think you'd probably be more profitable just betting their under next week, even if it is kind of blind.
I think you would too. Like, for example, Eric, Kendrick Bourne has had 2 massive games, like massive games. And then last week his line's sitting at 4.5, dude. Literally, I took one look at it. I'm like, Kendrick Bourne is not a 4.5 reception player. They're getting Kittle back. Like, this is a perfect time to sell. And I think he had like 2 receptions or something. It's just like that's just how it is, bro. Like Kendrick Bourne, this dude, like he's not having like 3 straight games in a row with like 10 catches for 100 yards. He's like gonna regress. That's kind of just like how I like look at things, man. And it's like I said, I think truly believe in like being due, truly believe in, just water finding its level. There's so much narrative and so much like complaining going on with these wide receivers and running backs and stuff about getting the ball and blah 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 blah. So yeah. I just love the buy the low and the sell. I mean, you got to treat it like a stock, right, Eric? Like you don't want to stock plummets up. Like you don't want to buy it then. You want to wait for it to drop a little bit. Same with
Absolutely. Absolutely, especially again when it comes to games like the NFL with all these like crazy sample sizes that are not indicative of realistically anything. But Ty, I still have that 30% boost. I still would like to lock in a first touchdown for the Chargers. If Circa wasn't hanging this 25-1, I mean, BT65 for Herbert, I'd be like relatively intrigued. Check Vidal. I just want to know his price. Even Vidal is 7-1. With both of these teams, Ty, these are teams where, finding who their really main scorer is, like they don't really have one.
Yeah, dude. I kind of think you're just like flipping coins, honestly, with Kamani or with like the Chargers, dude. Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
like I said, I think that I think that Keenan has a high target share here. But I mean, like on the real, like I don't know. I think that like I guess I kind of like Keenan because he's priced like given that Keenan's price the same as all those other guys, I actually do kind of like him, I guess.
So yeah, like I said, I was trying to hopefully find one that was like the outlier, and I'd bet like the one that was like off, but they're all the same. But pulling up FTN here quickly, like that's the thing too, Ty. It's like you look at, and obviously Quentin Johnson has like more big playability down the field, and even some catch and run, especially compared to Keenan and Ladd. But Keenan Allen over the season, 10 end zone targets, but then you go to receiving touchdowns. QJ still is the leader with receiving touchdowns on the team with 5.
Yeah.
But as you see, the difference here with Keenan is the 4 end zone TDs and the end zone targets, aka like when they're in the red zone, they're not just throwing it to Keenan underneath for a gain of 4 when they're at the 20. They're throwing him the football when he's standing in that 10-yard sacred box that is a touchdown to be scored.
Yeah, and like I think that chances are that it's not going to be an explosive touchdown just with how like the Vikings defense typically plays, with funneling stuff underneath. I know they've been getting kind of cooked. Like they were, Smith had like an 80-yarder, Metcalf had like an 80-yarder, but just like in general, like they do lead the league in too high. So I think that it's going to be a non-explosive touchdown. I think that kind of favors Keenan.
Definitely favors Keenan or Ladd, but again, and prices could be moving, and this close to kickoff, depending on which way they move, could be a different story on which one you want to back here. But ESPN a 185 on Keenan to 165 at Circa. And where is Mr. McConkey? Go down here, Ladd McConkey. He is 180 at DK to 165 at Circa, but to 179. So there is a 5 cent better for Keenan at ESPN, which is the best overall price on the Chargers wide receiver. There's 185 for Keenan at MGM or ESPN, excuse me, but Ladd 180 over at DK. And DK, Ty, I mean, that was part of what's his name's parlay, was it not? That's part of PFTs. That's part of PFTs. So like, it's a lock.
Oh, yeah. Eric, do you see what happened? Eric, do you see what happened in the NBA today?
With the gambling news, or is there some actual other things? Because yes, I definitely saw that.
Yeah, I mean, should we spend like 5 minutes on that?
Absolutely.
Like, that's insane. So Terry Rozier got caught gambling. He apparently got like 200K down. I think it was from like the mafia or something. I don't know what he must have been gambling debt or something. Got 200K down on his own unders, and then said he's hurt after 8 minutes. And Chauncey Billups, what I read, and maybe this is wrong, but I read that what they were saying is that Chauncey was telling people that they were going to tank and they were going to arrest all the people before it was public information. Now, that's not an edge. That's common sense. If a team is eliminated from the playoffs, they start tanking. That's just what happens in the NBA now. So I don't really get what's going on with that. But
well, the Chauncey was related more so toward these poker games he was running. Did you see that, Ty?
Yeah. The poker games. Yeah. Oh, so okay. But what? Well, it's definitely connected to the NBA though, right? Because why would they? Because that came out on the same day as the Terry Rozier stuff. So who knows? Well, that's kind of scary though. An NBA head coach, if he actually was doing that, like, geez.
Then it makes you think, because it's been happening forever in the college ranks, and there was a report not too long ago about it still happening, where some mid-major, or probably worse than mid-major, honestly, in terms of size, they were seeing significant action on them to like against them every single week, and they kept losing, and bettors kept profiting as well. This is stuff that's been around forever, and the thing is, like, the legal books actually do serve a big purpose in this. Like, obviously we like to shit on these odds and some of the terrible practices that these recreational sports books do. But with that being said, this is one of the big pros of legality, is the ability to catch these things quicker. Because especially think about even like baseball with Clase and Luis Ortiz, where they're having people bet their first pitch ball. Like, if that was happening on a PPH or something, like, you're never really gonna, I guess, catch that. But because of that, and like Ortiz and Clase, if not to pivot too much from the NBA and the newer scandal, they were also officially banned pending like trial still, so they still might be on life support. Banned from the NBA and also banned from the Dominican League. Like, they're never playing professional baseball ever again. And I don't know, Ty. What are your thoughts? Because part of me, and not to get too I don't want to say like political, because that's definitely not the right word, but like I think the real problem stems from like some of these guys, like they probably didn't come from much. They get a shit ton of money. They want to put their homies on. And it seems like a really easy, risk-free, foolproof way to do it, when in reality, it's the dumbest thing you could think of. But I think that goes
Yeah,
back to under education over like pure like maliciousness. But in Rozier's case, I think he just got in deep badly with the wrong people and had to do what he had to do.
agreed. Yeah, it probably is just like them trying to make a couple bucks for their homie, right? And it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it does seem harmless, but then it's like the thing is, it's like you do it one time, you're gonna want to do it again and again and again, and then
Absolutely.
an innocent little like $100 bet turns into like, dude, like dead ass, bro. Why aren't we just doing this for like $50,000? And then it's like it's free money, so yeah, you got to put a stop to it. And I'm glad that people are getting caught. I am kind of scared that if this shit just keeps on happening, that player props might disappear completely. I do
Mhm.
think that the betting industry would be pretty cooked though if they would lose so much money if they took away props, because props are more popular than sides and totals, like by far. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll
Absolutely.
see.
That would be a really bad for the general landscape of sports betting, whether you're a recreational player betting your same game parlays for fun, or a professional bettor getting edges on mispriced player props and you're originating your own numbers. There is no outcome where anything that comes from this is like positive to the ecosystem of professional or even recreational sports bettors. Because if
Yeah,
you're like an outsider looking in, right? Like you're probably viewing the situation, if you don't really bet, as like, generally speaking, like even if you are like a bettor, like it's a good thing that these are getting caught. But like for even though like the few who are true professional sports bettors, and that is your whole life is chasing EV via the sports books, however it is, P2s, offshores, etc. Your ability to earn like a living, which in freaking America should never be like capped, is actually now getting realistically like potentially screwed.
yep, it is.
Unfortunate, really unfortunate.
Yeah,
Ty,
they
but
would. Yeah, but
continue.
quick in the comment.
What's up?
Look at that comment. It said sportsbooks would lobby to keep the props. They absolutely would, dude.
Oh,
Like they need
absolutely,
so damn bad. Props
absolutely.
are like where it's at. I really wish that props like started to have more liquidity. Like
Well, this
just
is
the
part
fact.
of a deeper question, Ty, because going back to like the universal limits, because we have New York talking about how they're finding limited bettors or winning bettors being limited. Massachusetts Gaming Commission did their audit and found that like there is a subsequent group of bettors who are getting limited like for winning. And if they do put on a universal limit, that's also going to screw the industry, because then they're just going to put up the limit for props for what, like $50?
Yeah, 100%. That's gonna suck too. Anything under, yeah, no, universal limits are not good. I think just keep on playing the game, be smart with your stuff. Don't bet dumb openers that you clearly are going to get a limit for. I think that it's all preventable to an extent, but I'm probably just saying that because I have halfway decent accounts and I'm like front running it. But
Yeah, and then 2 bets and they're gone. That's the problem. That's
yeah,
like that
or
is the
more.
reality. I know you're aware of that.
Yeah, like yeah, 100%. And especially like as a tout, like with people telling me, like I could easily get cooked. So we'll see.
Yeah, but great comment. AAC Sportsbook would lobby to keep the props, but also it's auspicious timing as well with the new bill passing that college athletes and staffs can bet on sports. Then you have Adam Silver himself clamoring for his partners, because at this point, obviously, every league is in bed with a sports book of some kind, or even not NHL with some prediction markets, lobbying to get rid of player props. Like, first of all, Buddy's got a lot more to worry about with his viewership problems and the state of his load management. But he can talk about player props all he wants. But
Yeah.
I'm with you, AC. They would definitely lobby to keep props. And don't get me wrong, the sports betting industry has a ton of flaws, as do so many industries, especially that deal with things that are easily cause addiction or like could be detrimental to mental health and have like
Yeah.
some more serious issues outside of me and Ty sitting on a
Hear that?
Yeah. Ty's going to a rave after this, so he's got to get ready.
Dude, my Discord, I was on Do Not Disturb. I have no clue why that went off. Dude, Discord has some like weird ass music going on right now.
Oh, dude, listen, that was past yards.
I have no clue what it's like Halloween or whatever. So Discord thinks they're all funny.
Discord, fantastic app. But Ty, honestly, this is like a lot of like heavy concepts, and there's definitely like a bunch of podcasts out there, some content out there. I definitely would love to, do some more for you guys who are watching to like talk a bit more about like, just another take on some of these situations, because definitely like pertinent for everybody. And then you add in, of course, the gambling law that has been passed. Nothing has happened for any repeals that is going to go into effect, and there could definitely be a lot of things in this business that I don't think is going to like tank sports betting. I think sports betting still in the first inning and is going toward a massive uptick in the industry that it is, but there are a lot of flaws, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it's people love it. It's unless like something really bad happens, I don't really see it going anywhere.
No, I wouldn't say I see it going anywhere, but I think there are potential impacts for gamblers, again, sharp and recreational, that these things are going to uncover, that's going to lead to a worse experience. And then the debate comes, or the conversation will then shift to, how many people actually care, for how bad as that sounds, and like because of its addictive properties and other things about it that appeal to people. Because also, Ty, and like this is I guess obviously we have one more first touchdown to get the game starting soon. We're getting a bit off course here, but like the real epidemic, Ty, is the kids right now who are 15, 16, 17, 18, who are sitting in high school now with all this access to like different, it's not like fantasy football. Even like back then, like I knew kids who were gambling in high school. I started gambling my freshman year of college on offshores, but like imagine like the loopholes that they have available to them now with all technology, obviously all content catered, commercials catered, athletes promoting, where I was a 16-year-old sitting in, my 10th grade like science class right now, I'd be dreaming about like figuring out how to freaking beat some bets.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I actually really never thought about that, Eric. That's a good point. I mean, I me too. I started my freshman year of college. I'm really glad that I didn't start in high school, to be honest. Even like as a freshman in college, like did I know what I was doing? Not really, but I kind of knew enough to like beat the books. Like the books back in the day, dude, like they were so soft. Like it's actually kind of like you could like literally just find glitch lines and like nuke an account and get like a ton down. Like yeah, so but no, I agree, dude. Like I think if people are betting before college, like that can't be good for your brain.
No, and it's thing is like obviously it's like illegal still, but like think about all the things that are illegal or like borderline where you can like find loopholes, and like there are absolutely ways like, and that like obviously you have the issues of like, one, you have full grown adults gambling their freaking life savings and kids college funds, and you also have kids who are not even in college trying to figure out ways to, I wouldn't say like beat the market, but to gamble. Like they're predatory, like addictive things. And like there are, I guess to wrap it all up for this conversation, because I guess we don't have any answers, but to put it, I guess not even nicely, but this is going to be a very interesting case study in 50 years from now. Like the same thing with like even like vaping, for example. Like nobody necessarily knows exactly what it is, and people who are indulging in that stuff now are like kind of like test monkeys. Like when all the science comes out, when things are, it's going to be a very interesting case study in society, and then more when there are some data points to really back up years of history there.
Yeah, I mean it can't be good. That's for sure.
Absolutely not, Todd. But we got the game starting soon. Do we want to lock in the first tutty, or we have a card that we love and we'll just run through that and call it a day?
I think our card's good, dude. Honestly, I think we got some good stuff.
Perfect. So Ty locked in Aaron Jones over, what's the 24.5 rushing? Did you get that?
Yep.
24.5 rushing yards. I bet Chargers -3. I'm in on -110. Trey Harris using FanDuel's touchdown jackpot entry 13-1. Just out of curiosity, if that moved, I'll take a quick peek. I also bet Aaron Jones first touchdown 16-1 FanDuel. We bet the FanDuel 30% boost. We did Aaron Jones most rushing yards of the game parlay with Justin Jefferson anytime tutty plus 21.92. And I also got a bit I don't even know if greedy is the right word, but I'm going for the big bucks as well. Justin Herbert most rushing yards 22-1 FanDuel. I locked that in 850 on DraftKings. Obviously a long shot, but based on what I'm seeing, I think that is a bit underpriced. And Trey Harris, let's see, went down to 12-1, Ty. So we did our jobs as gamblers. We got value on everything we bet. That's all you can do, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
Absolutely. So shout out to everybody for joining chat. Really appreciate it. Also appreciate everybody like sticking around for that bit of a off topic but on topic banter. Hope you guys enjoyed because I didn't see many people leave. So hopefully that does mean you guys enjoyed. But make sure you guys are following Ty at Tyvin Klingler on X, also at YouTube at Straight Bet, and that's Ty's YouTube channel. Drops great content. Make sure you give him a subscribe there. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for the stream and also subscribe to the channel. It's much appreciated. I'll be streaming tomorrow and Sunday like always. So shout out to Ty, shout out to you guys. Let's have a profitable night, and I'll see you guys next time.